Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, hi Serena. Welcome to another edition of Rob's Little Blue Book. And tonight we are doing a steamed egg dish, which is oh, my rice is ready. Which is an Asian dish. It's a breakfast thing, although you can pretty much eat it anytime. Very loud rice cooker. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The first thing I want to talk about a couple of things first. We're going to do a cocktail tonight. Well, it's not really a cocktail. Let me just share. I don't know why I'm sharing this. But anyway, cocktail tonight is Scotch on the Rock. So I want something to sip on. And I wanted to talk about a couple of things for the future. But let me get this going. So if you've been watching the last couple of streams, there, everybody should know how to make that one. It's a classic. If you've been watching the last couple of streams, I've sort of been discussing or thinking about what I want to do down the road in the future of the stream. I've mentioned a couple times that, I mean, obviously I love doing this, but after a couple hundred streams now, I'm finding I have gone through sort of my knowledge, my personal knowledge base. I kind of made everything I want to make for you guys that I love. It's in the Little Blue Book, and we've had we go down rabbit holes and research and stuff, but that seems to be the direction is this a show? The channel is headed, is more of kind of like a journalistic approach where I find something that I'm really interested in, or I take a suggestion from somebody else they're really interested in, do the research, figure out how to make it. And this is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons I stress teaching technique. It's so important because once you have these techniques, adapting new things is super easy. And I can continue to show you guys that, and we'll still have cool things and whatnot. Having said all that, I'm thinking I'm probably going to cut back to every 2 weeks because I don't think I have the capacity to do a full research every week for something like that. I don't want the content to suffer. And I don't mind doing a once in the fridge episode. We've done a couple of those on weeks where I haven't had a chance to really do something super serious. And those are fun, but I don't want every week just to be me scrambling to find something to make for you guys. So for the short time, and I may go back if we build up some content. But for the next, what we're going to starting this week, we're going to do the first and third Wednesday of the month will be a stream night. And that will give me time to really prepare something that's quality. And I think the other thing too is not everybody can make it every week. And this will give people a chance to, if we get, I like having a larger crowd. I mean, it's great having the chat active and everything else. So if we can concentrate those people into an episode every 2 weeks instead of every week, that's good for everybody too. I like that energy. So that's kind of the announcement for this week. And then we're going to get into our recipe. So any questions on that? The suggestions, comments? I know it's lagged, so I'll wait for a sec. But other than that, I'm going to, we'll talk about it as we prep. Tonight's not super complicated. So basically, this is a steamed egg dish with a crispy pork topping. So we're going to do the two things separately. I'm going to do the prep with you guys. And there's actually kind of like a... Oh, hey, Ellie. We're going to do, I have a tip. I have a tip and a secret recipe this week. And we're going to do that now because I wanted to talk a little bit about soy sauce, which I know is not super exciting, but many people don't know the differences between the different soy sauces you can get, how they're used, what they're for, and even just how to use regular soy sauce. So I have here tonight, I have regular soy sauce obviously too, but the one thing more and more you'll see, especially as Asian ingredients become even more available than they are now. I mean, they're pretty widely available, but these two things have always been kind of hard to find. And this is light soy sauce and dark soy sauce. And people don't honestly, sometimes they don't understand what these are for. Now, light soy sauce is not sealed. That's what it's not. And I've managed to come down without any rags. Serena, I'm going to beg a favor. Can you throw me a rag when you have a sec? Okay. Light soy sauce is not low sodium soy sauce. They are different things. I don't know what low sodium soy sauce is for. I've never seen it called for in a recipe, and I can't imagine what you would use it for. Anyway, so light soy sauce has a lighter soy flavor, okay? It's actually higher in sodium than regular soy sauce. Like, so, and I don't have the regular here. So the Kikkoman or whatever you buy, anything that's just labeled soy sauce is kind of like your like general all-purpose soy sauce. And light soy sauce is not that. It's a lighter flavor, okay? Thank you, Serena. Clean up. And so dark soy sauce is also is a much stronger soy flavor. If you think of dark soy sauce, it's kind of like the extra virgin quality olive oil. It's a finishing soy sauce. You use it in small quantities. It gives a wonderful dark caramel color to your dishes. Now, it's higher in sodium than both light and regular. However, it's the least salty tasting of all of them, just simply because the soy flavor is so so pronounced. So even though this is like, I forget, it's around 9 and a change percent, it doesn't taste it. And light soy sauce, because the soy flavor isn't as predominant, will taste the most salty. Now, the other thing about soy sauce, and you know, you can thank, I guess, sushi restaurants for this, but most of the time in cooking, you don't use, like, especially as a condiment, you don't use soy sauce directly. It's not supposed to be applied directly to your food. It's very harsh tasting, and you can prove that to yourself just by taking a teaspoon and tasting it. Usually it's mellowed or seasoned, and you can buy seasoned soy sauce, but I'm going to show you guys how to make it tonight. It's super easy and worth doing. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how to make a seasoned soy sauce. And we're going to start with some aromatics, which in this case is just going to be shallots, I think. It's all getting strained out, so I'm not going to be too picky about the skins. And just give these a quick slice up. So this is the first of our aromatics. Buzz through this real quick. And we also want, I want some scallions. And I'm just going to use, it's loud. Just going to use the green ends of a couple. We don't need a lot. And again, I don't have to be too fussy about chopping these up because, well, I'll use a little bit of the whites. Because they're going to get strained out anyway. All right. And this is super quick. And you can, yeah, it's funny. You can make this in advance. And it keeps, you know, it keeps as long as regular soy sauce. You're not doing anything fancy. So let's get some heat here. And we're going to, like, speed through this just like a little bit here. A little bit of oil there. We want our oil to get hot. And I also need some white pepper, which I'm pretty sure I don't have any ground up. So let's get that going too. Let's do that while the oil heats up. Now for the dish that, the dish coming up, I just want a pinch of this. It can be prepared pretty quickly. Normally I would do the, I would start the eggs in the steamer and I would make the pork sauce while the eggs were cooking because they take about 12 minutes. Tonight I don't want to rush, I don't want to screw things up. So we're going to do them sequentially. I'm going to prepare the pork. We're going to do the pork topping first. I guess there's a little bit of water in there. And I'm just going to sweat these down. I don't want any color on this. We just want them to release their aromatics. And it'll just take a sec. And then we're going to start adding the rest of our stuff. You guys can see everything great. Okay. Got the camera in the right place. Camera's pulled back. See, like I can't lean under it anymore. There's no garlic in the seasoned soy at all, Rebecca. We're going to do that in the pork topping. Ooh, that's really hot. What else was I doing? Liquid measure. So we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of water. No, just light aromatics for this. The garlic and ginger are very, very strong aromatic compounds, and so we would do those. You would apply those to whatever dish you had in mind. In this particular case, our seasoned soy is supposed to be an accent, like a condiment, and since we don't know what we're putting it on, we don't want to include those flavors. And so I'm going to add, 3/4 of a cup of this too. So again, this is like 1 part soy, 1 part water, and that's because we are trying to balance out the soy flavor and everything else, and give us something that's just a little more balanced. You'll see we're gonna sweeten this a little bit too. Okay, so they've all sweated out. We're just gonna add this in. Gonna need that later. Now, again, we want to. Oh, hey Paul, how's it going? You haven't missed anything. I did make an announcement that I'm going to be cutting back stream to 2 weeks because I want to keep the quality high, and because we're doing much more of a research journal show. I need time to find good stuff for you guys to make for you guys. Other than that, we're making seasoned soy sauce. And I wanted something else in here. What else do I want? Oh, I want my white pepper. Actually, I use all that. And the dark soy. So again, our dark soy. So because we've diluted this, we still want to, like, I really like that sort of deep, dark caramel flavor. No, Rebecca, this is just a condiment that I'm going to have leftovers of. In fact, I'm actually not going to use it in the dish. I just wanted to show you guys how to make it. So you can see, I don't know if you guys can see on camera how dark, yeah, you can. Watch, I'll pour it over the back of the spatula again. Look how dark and wonderful this looks. So this gives a really beautiful color to your dishes, which is important. Okay, and again, I need that back. I want to keep it a little bit sweet, and I'm going to add, don't reach the right thing. So this is sugar. I'm going to go with like about 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, maybe a little bit more. And, okay. Oh, and of course, something that's going to feature, our feature ingredient tonight is MSG. You guys can get this at the supermarket. It's called Ajinomoto in the Indian section. It's called MSG in the MSG section. But there's going to be a lot of MSG in tonight's cooking. And if you were wondering, if you're still, this gives a huge umami boost. If you're still on the fence about MSG, or, there's the very old, extremely racist origins of the MSG headache and people being allergic to MSG and it being bad for you, and that is all bullshit. You can't have a reaction to MSG anymore. I mean, okay, some people have a salt sensitivity. You could have an MSG sensitivity in the same way. It's extremely rare. You don't have it. And then we're also going to add some Maggi, 2 teaspoons of Maggi, which has the second ingredient in this one is, it's the third, water, salt, monosodium glutamate. This is wonderful stuff. You can use it to add spice and flavor to just about anything. And this is going to give us another umami forward boost in our seasoned soy sauce. All right. Now, we're going to have these flavors blend for a sec. I'm just going to bring it to a boil. And I'm not claiming to be a doctor. Nothing I should take should be construed as medical advice, on stream or not. But I have never let a lack of knowledge stop me from forming a relatively strong opinion about something. So I got that going for me. Okay, I just want to bring this up to a brief little simmer. I'll take a sip of my drink and then we'll continue on. So we're going to strain this into a bowl. And that's it. So Any questions? Any questions on seasoned soy sauce? So now we have a wonderful condiment that we can use to season our food that isn't just a straight up harsh soy sauce, right? Okay. I want this to simmer just another minute, guys. Give me a sec here. Other feature beverage for tonight is ginger beer, which I quite like. I was almost tempted to make a scotch and ginger beer cocktail and give it a name, but that seemed a little weird. Okay, this is boiling. We're good. Just give this a quick strain into a bowl. Hopefully this bowl is big enough or I'm going to be embarrassed. Seems to be okay. Okay. All right, you know what? I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out, guys. So there you go. So this is, there's not much to see here, but there you go. There's our seasoned soy. Obviously, that's gonna cool because it's really hot. Always, wow, when you pour boiling liquids into like little thin aluminum bowls, they get hot. Okay, let's do some prep. So, as I said, we're going to do the pork topping first because that's easier for me, and I don't want to rush through this, right? So we need to mince up some garlic. I got some garlic and ginger here for our aromatics. I'm not going to put these through a press. I'm just going to smash them. Here's a trick with garlic. So if you smack a clove on the side, it does okay for getting crushed or minced or whatever, and you can just run the knife through it. Then I'll save that because I'm going to do it all at once. But if you cut it in half, stand your cloves up on end and give them a smack, they like explode, which makes things way easier, less chopping. And I'm not against or adverse to a little chopping in the kitchen. But on the other hand, I'll take the end off this guy. I don't need to make work for myself either, right? And ginger's the same way. I'll show you when we do the ginger. It also has a grain, and you can also smack it the same way. See, there's just like blammo. Now, if you're strong and you crush it on the side and hit it really, really, wow, I'm gonna lose my monitor here. Hit it really, really hard, probably won't notice the difference. But if you want to make your life a little easier, and you don't want to be like pounding the counter too hard, then that's definitely the way to go. I'm not gonna, I want this pretty fine, but it doesn't have to be crazy fine. I think that's good. Okay, our garlic is ready. Ginger, same thing, I'm gonna whack this guy in half. Now, you'll know when you see your ginger which way the grain runs. I happen to know it runs this way. And again, blammo, it just like explodes. And if I did it the other way, it wouldn't work. Okay. I don't know where that piece of ginger went. So that's another thing to watch out for, I guess, is the ginger, like... I seriously don't know where that piece of ginger went. Okay, so I'm going to be a little lighter than ginger tonight. It's okay, I was concerned about the amount of ginger I had here already, so this will be fine. Garlic and ginger can go in here. There we go. Okay, now pork belly's next. Got these lovely pieces of pork belly. You can get this anywhere, and also, so here's the thing: you could use ground pork here. I like chopping my own pork. I like the variety, and I'm gonna take I just got this little skin on here. I'm taking it off for this dish. I like the variety and the pieces size that you get. I like the way that tastes when you eat ground pork that's been kind of like minced on your own. But if you're in a hurry, or you don't want to, or you just can't get pork belly because, not everywhere has it, then by all means just use ground pork. And look for, if you are buying pork belly like this, you do want to find pork belly like I've got here that has a pretty good balance of meat and fat. Some pork belly, and it's amazing, and I use it for other things, some pork belly can be just basically almost all fat. You don't really want that for this dish. So let's give this a little dice and we'll keep moving. Any questions on pork and what we're doing here? As I said, there's something about starting with an ingredient, to my mind, in my experience, not only are you assured of sort of a higher quality ingredient when you're buying a whole piece, but there's something about processing your own ingredients that puts you in touch with the food in a way that you don't get just like taking the saran off a pile of ground pork and dumping it, right? This way, you learn the ingredient. You learn how it reacts to a knife, and how it handles and how it feels. And that can kind of inspire you, you know? That will lead you to other dishes and other uses for it, which you might not get to. You know, you might not get to that place if you just buy like a ground product. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. I do feel that the less processed the food, and it's the same reason. Hang on. No, it's the same stuff, Rebecca. You treat it exactly the same. No, I forgot what I was going to say. It's okay. Yeah, this is basically just going to be ground pork. And I'm just going to like run the knife through it a couple of times. Give it a mince. This would probably honestly be easier with a cleaver. There's a reason most Asian cooks use a cleaver, not a chef's knife. This is one of them. But again, I'm kind of watching this. You could do that, Sabrina. But I think for this particular dish, you want it minced. And you'll see when I assemble the dish how it's supposed to look. But if that's the way you want to do it for yourself, I mean, there's no reason not to. And again, you can see we're getting kind of down to a minced texture here, but a little bit rougher. I got some larger pieces of protein. The fat's starting to break down here, and I'm actually really happy with this consistency. Maybe one more run this way. There we go. I like this. I like the way this turned out. So now our pork is prepared. We can set that aside. Let me clean this. Give me one sec, guys. Whoa. Thought it would have more counter space in this new setup. Hasn't exactly worked out that way. Okay, don't need that anymore. And I think that's all the prep we need to do. Okay, so the other ingredient, which, we gotta prep the tofu. Let's do that. Okay, so the way steamed eggs work is we're gonna make a mixture and we're gonna steam it in a bowl. And the mixture is going to be eggs, silken tofu, stock, which is a dashi, which we'll talk about in just a sec, and water. Now you want to get silken tofu for this, okay? Because the idea is the tofu and the eggs when they're cooked, have exactly the same consistency. That's what kind of makes it really yummy. This is not washed. That would have been annoying. Okay, so sorry, any questions on silken tofu? And I want to dice this, so I'm going to go like that. Oh, actually, I'm going to go this way too. Let's zip it through that way. There we go. Very easy. You got to be a little bit gentle with this because it's silken tofu and it's just going to like comes apart pretty easily. Now our tofu is prepared. And I kind of feel like we're ready to go on with the prep. Oh, we were going to talk about dashi. So the stock we're using tonight, I made this in advance, guys, because it's just easier. You can use either, you know, if you have a market near you, you can make dashi yourself really easily from konbu and bonito flakes. If you don't have that, just get the Hondashi instant dashi. It's great too. It tastes just fine. Don't make your life hard. There is a time and a place for instant dashi, and there's a time and a place for doing it with konbu and bonito flakes. Let's do it the easy way. Okay, let's get this going. And I'm using the old one here. I haven't got around to getting an induction burner. I was kind of like toying with that idea. And you know, given how much we have, I was going to use the wok for this. But I just don't think I have enough ingredients to justify the wok. Just use the pan. So we want to heat up a little oil here. And now we're kind of into standard traditional cooking techniques. We're going to heat our oil. We're going to bloom our aromatics. We're going to add the pork. And then how much water is in this? Cup of water, half cup of dashi. Okay, we'll be fine. Now I wonder if I should done the wok. So any questions so far on how we go? I know it's probably hard to, if you haven't seen this dish before, it's kind of hard to see where we're going, but we'll see when we get there. Okay. I was hoping for more sizzle. Oh no, we're good. We're good. We're good. Thought my oil wasn't hot enough for a sec. But it's fine. I can smell it. And again, we're just blooming this. This is, you know, until you smell it, basically. Gonna give it 30 seconds. I might go just a hair longer than I would for like an Italian dish. Ooh, smells amazing. Smells just incredible. What I want to do as well. It's fine. Okay, so that's ready. Let's get our pork in here. Oh, we have another tip to talk about. Wow, we're full of tips and tricks this week. So I just want this till it's barely brown. I don't need to put like a lot of color on this. But while that's going, so this is going to end up as a sauce, like a sauced pork. You'll see. Now I have switched over almost entirely now. I used to use cornstarch for my thickeners and slurries. I have switched over to potato starch because I can get it. It's really easy, and you probably can too now. It might be $1 more a bag or something like that, but it's much nicer to work with. It's easier to mix into cold water and make a slurry in the first place. It stays blended longer than cornstarch. Like cornstarch, if you leave it alone for a second or two, it basically all goes back down to the, you know, the bottom of the thing. You got to stir it up. It's a little thing, but you know. So I'm looking at the pieces here, guys, that we have, and these are a little bit larger, I think, than I would have. They're almost like lardons. I don't think the knife went all the way through when I was mincing it. I'm okay with that. I think it's going to be good. But it's not as ground as I had in my vision in my head, I guess. I still think it's going to be just fine. But come on, let's go. Okay, almost where I want to be here. Have a quick sip of ginger beer. Almost. Want a little more color here. Okay, I think we're good. So now we can start adding the rest of our ingredients. So I want half a cup of dashi. You could also use any other kind of stock if you don't have dashi on hand. Chicken stock would be fine as well. Where are my measures here? I want half a tablespoon of light soy sauce. And you'll see actually that the ingredients we're using here are actually very similar to our seasoned soy sauce. So there's half a teaspoon of light, sorry, half a tablespoon. I want a teaspoon of the dark for color and a little more of a soy forward flavor. Look at you can see just that will color the whole dish. It's quite amazing stuff. Now, I would normally use oyster sauce here. Ouch. But I was out, so I'm going to use hoisin sauce. They're basically interchangeable, except hoisin sauce is a lot sweeter. So you just have to be mindful of that when you're doing your dish here. But I do want one flavor or the other. Hoisin is a slightly different flavor than oyster sauce, but I do want both. Or sorry, I do want one or the other. So if I was going to sweeten this dish in any way, I might add like a little bit less because of the whatchamacallit, the hoisin sauce. And we're going to go with a 1/4 teaspoon of MSG. Yeah, it smells amazing down here, Serena. Okay, I just want this is simmering a bit more than I had in mind. Just a little. On a bare simmer. And now we're going to make our cornstarch slurry, which I'm going to do in this. Sorry, I said cornstarch, didn't I? I meant potato starch. And again, all slurries are essentially 1-to-1. So it's going to be a tablespoon of starch and a tablespoon of water. Can I get a tablespoon over there that's filling it? Let's see. Yes. And I don't know if you guys have worked with cornstarch before, but I just mix that in with my fingers and it's nice and silky and smooth and it's staying dissolved. Cornstarch just doesn't do that. And this can actually not just go straight in, which is going to give us our thickener. And this should thicken this up quite quickly. There we go. And you can see it's coming together into a thick sauce. I mean, this is like almost like any other kind of stir fry that you would do. You can see it instantly thickened up. And I'm very happy with that. That looks absolutely delicious. So any questions, guys? This is going to be our pork topping. And we're going to start to move on to the egg mixture now. And I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put that temporarily. Back here. I'll just keep it warm, literally on the back burner. We got this guy back here, which you guys can't see. Okay. So, I just said that. Any questions on that before we move forward? I don't need the cutting board anymore. All right, I'm gonna just do a little straightening up here so I keep track of what's going on. But I think we got everything. Okay, so the next thing to do is mix up our egg mixture. And let's get the steamer going. Give me a sec, guys. Do want that. Can you guys? Oh, you guys can't see. Okay, so I got a steamer over here, guys. I got my bowl, which actually has nutmeg in it for some reason. You could obviously use a bamboo steamer. This is just my steamer setup. I used to have the bamboo ones for like dim sum and whatever. I think I chucked them. They don't last forever, and they just kind of got old. So I'm going to heat up the water while we prep the rest of this. So the tofu can actually go straight into this bowl for now. This is the bowl we're going to steam in. And we can prep our egg mixture. So the egg mixture is really easy. Got a couple eggs here. I gotta slow down tonight. Kind of like tonight. Okay, to this we want to add half a cup of water and half a cup of dashi. I happen to know this is half a cup. Oh, here, I'm not sure. But this is half a cup. I want a little salt in this one. Yeah, maybe a bit more. Like we don't have enough salt products in this already. Definitely not a low sodium adventure, so to speak. And that's our egg mixture. So any questions on that? Because now it gets really, really easy. I'm not knocking it over. And we're now going to have time to chat because as I said, this, I'm actually just going to leave it over there. Do you guys mind not being able to see it? I don't think it's a big deal. It's just a steamer in a pot. So, okay. Time to prep this. Just pour the egg mixture over the, thankfully this bowl is big enough. So one thing it's not ready. Come on, boil. Almost there. Yep, okay. One thing I haven't figured out yet, Rebecca, it comes out almost like a custard. One thing I haven't figured out is how I'm going to get this out at the end. So we have about 13 minutes. I'm going to say 13 minutes for that to cook. So that is going to be 7:51. We're going to have a look at it. What's going on there? Oh no, I'm moving okay. So my camera's lagging. I don't know. It's fine. So we actually have 15 minutes or 12 minutes to talk about it. Figure out how we're going to do that at the end. I'm open to suggestions at this point. So since we have a little bit of time, guys, let's talk about... and I don't want this like at a powerful... So ideally, for texture, you want this to be... I guess I can just flip up to the big screen. You want the sign of a master who does this is the top of the egg, so it'll be like this perfect mirror-like silky smooth surface. I'm not aiming for that tonight because I don't know how to do that. When I was researching this, the guys were like they were blowtorching the top to blow the bubbles off, and I love blowtorches, but it just seemed excessive for a breakfast dish. But let's talk about maybe some ideas for down the road. What are people feeling? What do people want at this point? So, as I said, I've run through, and I'm happy to go back to Italian and dig through that. That's always going to be my go-to. But what do people feel like seeing? Is there a cuisine that you're curious about? Is there something you want to know how to make? A genre of food? Is it like food trucks or? I know we haven't done much dessert stuff, but that's also, it's really hard to do. Dessert stuff is typically like oven and baked stuff, and that's much harder to do on stream. But Ellie, that's a fantastic idea. I have not. I have never done an African dish. Closest we have gotten to that is a Moroccan dish, which is actually pretty close. But yeah, so Serena's going to be writing all this stuff down. But yeah, we could definitely do an African dish. Maybe I'll write it down actually. You know, I got a pen here. I mean, there's no point I would normally type this up, but you guys can see. See, I got like a pen and paper here. Okay, so an African dish is great. And definitely down to learn a lot more about African cooking. It's a cuisine, and you know, it's a massive area of the world that I know nothing about in terms of the cooking. And the nice thing is, yeah, we can do that. The jollof rice, that's the classic. But there's also I can't remember the names of them. There's a couple of other really classic African dishes as well. There's one that's almost like a stew or a gravy or something, and it's like every African mother serves it. It's like their comfort food, and I cannot remember the name of it, but we can definitely look into that. So, yeah, that's a fantastic idea. So anyway, the reason I'm watching the heat on the steamer is I don't want like a huge rolling boil under the dish because I don't want it. You don't want it to disturb the top. As I said, I'm not like super stressed about that because. And again, another great idea, Rebecca, because I've never done jerk chicken, and I really like jerk chicken. So that's a definitely one we could do. We've done a couple of Caribbean things, but we've definitely never done jerk chicken for sure. So, 8 more minutes to figure this out. Ellie, how is that possible? It's not possible not to have jerk chicken. Anyway, I will do it for you, and you will see how easy it is. It's a wonderful dish. Yeah, I think you're right. Does Morocco count as North African? I mean, or is that Middle Eastern? I am woefully ignorant of the geography of that area. Well, you can make up for it now, Ellie. Like, now's the time, right? I really want to take the lid off and see what it's doing, but I don't want to release the steam, so I'm really trying to be patient here. Not one of my super strong points, patience. So I'm kind of working on that. Ellie, what was your childhood comfort dish? Curious about that. And I'm sure it wasn't boring. I'm sure it was really good. Morocco's in Africa. Okay, so we've done Northern African. Hamburger Helper. We did it. We did a Hamburger Helper episode. Way back in the day. And I don't think I'm going to revisit it because... although, you know, we have it's in the Little Blue Book. We have a homemade Hamburger Helper dish in the Little Blue Book, which I make from time to time, because it's also Serena's comfort food. Chili's a little tricky to do on stream because, you know, it's got to simmer for 4 hours. But, you know, so I'm actually going to put chili down, and I'll tell you why. I made chili recently in a way that I've never made it before, with a roux, and I'll just TV time it. because yeah, I could do that. Just let it simmer for 5 hours on stream. But one of the things that's one of the ones I think is worth TV timing, because I could do all of the prep up until it simmers and just put it aside and have one, because I kind of want to share that with you. This was a chili technique that started with the roux, and I love gumbos and I love southern cooking that start with roux and things like that, all these soups and stews, and I have never done a chili like that, and it's, I think, one of the best chilies I've ever made. So that is also good. I got 3 ideas already. This is awesome. Yeah, I do like the idea of just doing like a 5-hour stew stream. Just, I don't think my cameras would last that long. Maybe. The face cam, which you guys can see, it just runs on batteries because these streams they're not as long as the batteries last. Ooh, that sounds like a lot of fun. You will have to tell me about the food when you get back. So this is definitely, wow, it's really hot. So, by the way, has anybody figured out how we're going to get this bowl out in one piece? I'm tempted just to grab it with... Oh, you know what we can do? We can fluff the rice. So the other thing too, guys, is this dish gets served with, normally served with warm rice. Can I get the rice over here? Nope, I can't. But I can fluff the rice while we're talking about it. Perfect. Okay. Rice looks really good. Yeah. I have no idea how to get that out. We'll figure it out. I have 4 minutes to figure it out. You think that'll work, Serena? You're going to have to bring me the Smashula then if you want to do that. That's actually exactly what I was just thinking. Do you mind bringing me the Smashula and maybe we'll try that? Oh, Ellie, so I use it for smash burgers. I did not coin the term though. There's a YouTuber named George Moats. I think it's Moats. Anyway, he has an entire channel on burgers. He's written a book on regional burgers all over the United States. Fantastic guy, really good energy, really great stream. Anyway, he coined the term Smashula, or I don't know if he did or not, but he has one on his show, and you'll see it in a second. I'll show it to you guys. It's definitely one of the cool things. But I'm kind of a fan of his channel. I think he's great, and he has a signature Smashula that you can get. Like he's got a merch store where you can like get the stuff, and so like, that's cool. Like I don't have it down here. I have the Binging with Babish carving fork, which was from the movie. Thank you. What movie was that? Chef. The Chef movie. Anyway, so I have the carving fork, and it's a great carving fork, right? So I went to his merch store and this is I'll show you the Smashula. Yeah. So this is the Smashula. It's nice and it's rigid and it's heavy, and you just smash the burger with it, obviously. This one's called Hell's Handle by Mercer. But when I went to his merch store, and the Smashula was $325 US, which is a lot to smash a burger, and it's really no different than right. And it's really no different than this. So I was like, I can't do it. I am all for excess, especially when it comes to kitchen stuff. But that was a eye-poppingly expensive. So I mean, and they're all numbered, eh? They're all like limited edition numbered. Of course, it's probably only limited by the number he can sell, but you know, get the idea. Yeah, I would be afraid to use it. Right? Like, anyway, this one works great. I love it. We use this on Halloween. Okay, 1 minute, and I'm gonna have a look at the texture of this. I'm kind of excited, guys. I'm kind of like right on time. I thought this would go. I thought this would go a little faster. Like I was worried about the stream actually being like a little on the short side, but I think we're moving along at exactly the pace I want to go. Okay, I got my serving bowl and spoon here. Get that ready. Don't need the big sharp knife anymore. I'm going to move this a little bit this way. Okay, it is 7:51. We are going to have a look at this, see where we're at. I'm going to do this carefully because I got enough burns these days. I don't need any more. Oh, excellent. Ellie, I think you'll love it. Okay, not what I was expecting to see. This is, okay, let's see. No, this is good. So there's still water in this, but I think you're just supposed to pour off the excess water. Because I don't think that's going to absorb. I think this is done. So now I have to, okay, so now the second challenge is going to be, the second challenge is going to be, yes, I know. The second challenge is going to be pouring off the excess water. Okay, so I will tell you what, oh, of course, I'm sorry guys, you can't see. I wasn't deliberately building tension, that was me just being silly. Okay. So, the consistency is perfect. See how it like wobbles? That's exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see more of less liquid. Yeah, no, the jiggly part is perfect, but there's excess water, and that can happen. That's okay. That's supposed to happen. But you can see the excess water. We want to pour that off before we add the topping. So I think the consistency is perfect. I think it's, do I just want to like cheat and dig in? It's not done. Okay, 5 minutes, guys. Yeah, I think, Rebecca, I will be able to get it out with just the claws. But let's put this back for 5 minutes. So remember when I talked about, okay, so we're going to take that off at 7:57. Remember when I talked about the rolling boil upsetting the surface? I think that's what happened. It's not going to affect the flavor or the texture, just the presentation. I'm a bit of a stickler for presentation, but this is a breakfast dish, so I'm just going to roll with it tonight. Fast greens tonight. Did I tell you guys that? I know some of you know the fast green story, but we have 4 minutes. I'm going to tell you the fast green story because we have time. And it's got nothing to do with food. It's about golf, right? If you don't play golf, you've seen it on TV, you know how it goes. Anyway, there's a Spanish golfer by the name of Seve Ballesteros. He's a great golfer, but he doesn't always, he's not always on the PGA. He plays on the European Tour, and the European Tour is kind of like entry-level PGA. So a lot of players play there in the off-season to practice for the PGA Tour. PGA Tour is very competitive. Anyway, I was reading a book about a rookie golfer who managed to get on the European Tour, and I don't remember his name. He's a Canadian guy, but a young guy. Anyway, early in the season, they're playing in Spain, and he's paired up with Seve for the round, and it's super dry. It hasn't rained in Spain for like 4 weeks. So this means that the greens where they putt are rock hard, and they're called fast greens. They're super fast greens, which means if you just touch the ball, it'll go, it rolls like it's on a billiards table. And it makes it very challenging to play like that. So, he's just chatting with Seve on the first tee before the round. He's like, Seve, how do you feel about the greens today? They're super fast. And Seve's like, you know what? I love fast greens. Like, it suits my game. Every time I come out and play around on fast greens, I have the best game ever. And the guy's like, okay, great. Like, you're in luck because they're the fastest today. And Seve has a great round. And then fast forward 6 weeks towards the end of the tour, they're playing in Scotland. And Scottish courses are different than European courses. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I won't explain. But it's been raining in Scotland for a month. And everything is drenched. Everything is soaking wet. And he gets, just coincidentally, gets paired up with Seve again. But now the greens are super slow. They are wet. You have to hammer the ball to get it to go anywhere. And so he's a little bit concerned. He likes Seve, right? And so they meet up on the first tee. And yeah, exactly, Ali. And he says to Seve, like, how do you feel about today's round? The greens they're really, really slow today. And Seve's like, oh, you know what? I love slow greens. Like, I come out on a day and the greens are really slow and I have like one of my best rounds ever. And that was his outlook on things, was that he can't control that. He can't control how fast the greens or slow the greens are. He just decided that was for him. Whatever the conditions were, he was going to make the best of it. And it's more than just making the best of it. It's accepting the conditions and thinking they're going to be great for you. So that kind of applies to this custard thing, which is now done. Oh, actually, I'm going to go maybe another minute. I'm starting to see what's happening here. What did I say, 7:57? We're going to go one more minute. Yeah, Paul, I think, and it's something that story struck a chord with me. And it's a great outlook to have. It's been repeated in other not philosophies, but other works and books. If you read Designing Your Life by the two guys from MIT, which is also really interesting, they talk about things like that as sort of, in another way, as being gravity problems. Like, there's nothing you can do about gravity. Nobody complains about gravity. Nobody gets up in the morning and goes, oh man, gravity's so strong today. Is it going to make my day so hard? Because you can't do anything about it, right? So anyway, greens were gravity problems for Seve. Let's get back into this though. That's enough of a pretty serious tangent there, but it's definitely a story worth knowing. And it does apply to cooking, right? This is the fast greens of Asian breakfast food. Didn't want to do that. Hang on. And we're just going to make this work. Now, we are going to, it looks good. And now I'm much happier with the texture now. I think this is ready. We do have to pour off the excess water. And oh, that's hot. Okay. Now, here's the jiggle. You guys can see the jiggle? That is jiggle worthy. And I'm just going to pour off some of the excess here where you guys just want to drain some of the excess water. Oh yeah, almost no water. Okay, much happier now, guys. And I'll show you the other thing. Oops, I don't want to pour it into the sink. So the other thing too is, see how it bulges as it tips towards the edge of the side? That's exactly what you want to see. There's still a little liquid. I'm going to pour a little more. Ooh, that's hot. Pour a little more off. I'm terrified of dumping this into the sink. Okay. I don't think it was creepy at all, Ellie. I think that was hilarious. I mean, show me the jiggle is just... it's not a bad way to go through life, right? It doesn't have to be with food. Okay, so there you go. So now this is in our bowl. This is our serving bowl. We're going to top it, and then we're going to serve it with rice, and we're good to go. So you guys remember from earlier in the stream, here's our wonderful yummy pork topping, which actually just has absolutely fantastic color. You guys can see the consistency of the sauce. That's exactly what I want to see. We nailed the topping tonight. I still have managed to use just about every dish I own. Anyway, this just goes on top like this. I think I would, so it wouldn't fit in my streamer. I would use I think one of the reasons this took longer was that it's a deep bowl, right? I would use a wider, shallower bowl next time. However, this is what we had tonight. And you know what? I think that needs a little scallions on it. Give me a second, guys. Let's just do a little thing. I know it's just breakfast, but... Okay. I just feel like a little color is going to be right here. There you go. So I can't, ow, I can't really hold it up to the camera. Let me see if I can get you guys a little closer to this. This bowl is definitely full, but there you go. Steamed eggs with pork topping. Let's serve it the way it was meant to be, which means I need my other spatula, wherever that went. Right, here we are. Get a little rice. So as I said, you wouldn't eat this straight out of the bowl. It would be served alongside rice, and you would have both at once. Yeah, sesame seeds might be good too. Okay, now I gotta figure out how to get into this. Get it into my bowl without... Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man, this looks so good. I'm so happy. Okay. Okay, that wasn't supposed to happen, but yeah, it's fine. It's my desk. I can eat off it if I want. Ow! Hot. Clean up. And I just dropped like hot egg on my foot. Everything's coming at Millhouse though. Okay. Let's just clean up the rim here, make a nice presentation. Okay. Yes, Danny, you could use, Ellie, you could use any kind of like a deep fried tofu. You could use TVP. I would be tempted to use like a firmer deep fried tofu. I think would be wonderful. You could use like a chopped mushroom mixture would be fantastic. Anything like that. Okay, you guys curious? Are you curious? I'm curious. Oh, looks really good. Get a little more pork there. A little bit of rice. Hot. Oh, that's really good. It's just really good, guys. This is like a comfort breakfast, yummy thing. Yeah, a Beyond Ground meat would be really good too, Serena. That's a good idea. Okay. This is definitely a win, guys. Is it rich? No. It's not incredibly rich. I mean, it's very... I think because of the water and the eggs and the dashi, the eggs are light. It's almost like a light custard. It is not overpowering or rich or cloying or anything like that. The flavors are actually pretty clear. No, it's just delicious. It's just delicious. I could eat this all day long. You know, straight out of the bowl. Really good. Okay, I'm really happy with this one, guys. I'm glad we found this. I'm going to try a little bit of the tofu. I probably had tofu already because it's all throughout. Yeah, it's good. Really good. Okay. Can't stop eating. Okay. So, that's it. This is what I want to show you guys. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. This is very easy, Rebecca. Now, it looked like we went through a lot to do this, but honestly, if you have your ingredients together, it's literally you. And you could do this. The way I would do this if I was making this in the morning, I mean, you saw how easy to whip the eggs. You whip 2 eggs in the liquid together, pour it over the tofu, put it in the steamer, and then go to the stove, fry up your pork topping. It doesn't need to simmer. You saw it thickens up with the slurry right away. You could easily make the topping in the time it took the eggs to cook, and 50 minutes later you got breakfast. This is very easy to do. And it's very satisfying. This is, yeah, wow. Okay, guys, one more. I really like this. Like it a lot. Okay, so that's what I wanted to cover with you guys tonight. I think we're on a really good track for next week. I'm doing not next week. So listen to me. Forgot my own rules. Yeah, Ellie, but you could make this for lunch. You could make this any time of day. This would be satisfying any time of the day. Okay, so not next week. On the 3rd Wednesday. Is this the first Wednesday of... Have I screwed this up already? This is the first Wednesday of January. On the 3rd Wednesday of January, we are doing an African dish. I will figure something out. It'll be fun. And we'll go from there. So, everybody, thanks for coming out. Thanks for being patient, bearing with me while we figured all this stuff out. And I'm looking forward to the new schedule change. I think it's going to result in sort of higher quality content. I mean, I like the content we're doing. I don't want to stretch, and I want to bring you guys the very best, right? So I think that will help a lot with that. Everybody have an amazing 2 weeks, and we'll touch base just after the mid part of the month. Bye, everybody.